The film Deathstalker was definitely a fun film in the sword and sorcery genre. Now let's talk about its sequel, even though despite it has a different person playing the titular character. Here's my review of Deathstalker II, Duel of the Titans. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers. Welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. I'm the Big D, and this time around, I bring to you a review of the 1987 Argentine-American fantasy comedy adventure flick Deathstalker II, also known as Deathstalker II: Duel of the Titans, released by Concord Pictures, along with Ares Films International and New Horizon Picture Corp. Directed by Jim Wynorski, written by Neil Runenberg. Starring John Terlesky taking on the role from of the titular character from Rick Hill. Now, the story concerns a princess who has been deposed and replaced by her evil clone. She poses as a seer while trying to reclaim her kingdom with the help of the warrior known as Deathstalker. The film was released in Japan on September 12, 1987. Now, it has been re-released at times. But anyway, this will just be a short bit because I'm not giving the whole story away. Now, Princess Evie of the Jazephyr Kingdom is possessed by the sorcerer Jarak, who creates an evil clone of Evie. Through the clone, Jarak and his voluptuous and dangerous ally Sultana rule over Jazephyr. The real Evie escapes Jarak's control, and posing as Rena the Seer, she enlists the aid of the renowned hero Deathstalker. Together they fight against the forces of evil to take back Evie's kingdom. Now, usually I would let you watch the first review, but I'm deciding not this time. Anyway, that's all the story I will give to you because it's not much. So if you want to know what goes on throughout this, you'll have to watch it. Owing to its low-cost production and the perceived self-awareness of the film, Wynorski called the film an anachronistic comedy of sorts. But it was the last sword and sorcery movie that Roger Corman produced in Argentina during the 1980s. Now, of course, Wynorski was best known for doing other films, including Sorceress, The Lost Empire, and Chopping Mall before this. And of course, he later went on to give us the return of Swamp Thing, Sorority House Massacre 2, and Beastmaster 2, and 976 Evil 2. Oh, the list goes on for this. But yes, that name did sound familiar. I wouldn't know how much it did, but anyway. Of course, Corman had a deal to make several sword and sorcery films in Argentina, a co-production deal with Ares Cinematográfica Argentina, of which the film was the last. Now, of course, he asked Jim Wynorski, who had just made Chopping Mall the previous year, for Corman to direct it. Well, Wynorski said Corman was upset that he did not get the chance to produce Conan the Barbarian. He should have done it, but he didn't. Someone else did, and he said, I'm going to copy it. So that's what he did. Now, apparently, they actually got a lot of actors that Wynorski had worked with before, including John Terlesky, who plays the titular role this time. He recently played Mike in his previous film, Chopping Mall. And he also did several other films. A lot of them, I'm afraid, I am not too familiar with. But even though I really liked the performance Rick Hill gave in the first one, but he does just as good of a performance. Now, evidently, he was actually dating the woman who played Rena the Seer, aka Princess Evie, Monique Gabrielle, at the time. Who was recently selected as the Penthouse Pet of the Month in December of 1982 and appeared in a variety of mainstream and adult films over her career. She actually had uncredited appearances in Airplane 2, the sequel, and Flashdance. She also appeared in Bachelor Party, plus a lot of other films. She was also Miss Poinsettia in The Return of Swamp Thing. And she was also in some of the other films that Wynorski directed. So anyway, so yeah, I must admit she's very good in her performance in this. I must say she's a hot one, definitely. I never knew she was a penthouse pet though. Who knew? John LaZar played Jarek the Sorcerer, and I have to admit he does a good job. He had he was best remembered for playing in Beyond the Valley of the Dolls back in 1970. He's been in a few other films. The only other film it seems I recall seeing him in was Attack of the 60-Foot Centerfold, but I don't remember which character he played. Sorry, everyone. Jim Wynorski also had a special appearance in the film where he was credited as Arch Stanton. He played the dying soldier. Now we have Toni Naples playing Sultana, not too bad. Playing the Amazon Queen is Maria Socas, whom we sadly lost last December. She died on December 10th of last year at the age of 65. And she was actually in a number of the films that were done, including Wizards of the Lost Kingdom and The Warrior and the Sorceress as well. Rest in peace. And then there's the Booher, credited as Queen Kong, plays the Amazon champion wrestler Gorgo. Oh yeah, this one was pretty funny. Anyway, from what I've seen of Deathstalker II, it's pretty funny and what have you. It kind of feels like you're seeing like a precursor to either Hercules, the Legendary Journeys, or Xena Warrior Princess, except in a more mature way, you know. But I gotta give it credit for what it had to offer. Now, I will say, yes, it does have some its cheesiness, its corniness, and campiness, and what have you, like you would get from some of Mr. Corman's films, or even from Mr. Wynorski's films. But nevertheless, I really handled this film very well. Mm-hmm. Another thing I actually did like about Deathstalker 2 was its music. Now, although in one scene they actually did use a tiny bit of the music that was featured in Shopping Mall, as a matter of fact. But, however, Chuck Sereno, who does the score for the film, did pretty good. The one thing I did like was the main theme, which gets played like several times in one of you. But I loved it. It was pretty epic and bloomin' awesome. But you'll have to take my word for it. Anyway, that's all I can tell you. But I will say that I do like the epic action, what have you, and the hot babes and what have you. However, they use a tiny bit of footage you might have seen if you saw the first Deathstalker. But everything else was absolutely a blast. Now, of course, I have not seen the third and fourth films. Again, if I happen to encounter them, I will certainly review them sometime down the road. But that's all I can tell you about this film. So, with everything said, Deathstalker 2 can be a mixed bag to you, but if you're not into stuff like that. But if you're into some, well, a sword and sorcery film with a little, with lots of humor and craziness and what have you, then I'd say I would recommend you go ahead and go ahead and give it a try. But I could also recommend a one-time watch if you're a hardcore completionist. But anyway, this had some hot stuff, and yes, you're going to, and yeah, you get titties galore. Uh-oh, I said titties. You know that means a titty alert. You're gonna be seeing some of that as well. Believe me. Yeah, that's something I failed to point out in the first review. My review of the first one. Apologies, gentlemen, if you're watching, but please, ladies. Well, please, I'm not trying to well cause any harm or anything. Bring oh dear, I'm sorry, I'm getting carried away here. But seriously, Deathstalker 2 is worth looking into. I think you might enjoy it. I'm sure you may not like it as much as the first one, despite it has a different player in the titular role, as well as other things. But overall, I've actually quite liked it, just about as much as the first one. Okay, so you be the judge. I liked the music, the cast and characters, and some of the action. It was pretty good. So what did you think of Deathstalker 2? Let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel. You know the rest. And stay tuned for my Saturday morning TV log on the animated Alf coming up tomorrow morning. So if you like this, check out my reviews for these others. In the upper left-hand corner, you can check out my review of the one that's my recent review of Deathstalker, or go to the upper right hand corner and see my review of Conan the Barbarian from 1982, or go to the bottom left hand corner and see my review of the sequel to that, Conan the Destroyer from 1984, and the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.